But goddamn, I've lost track of the number of times I've been told I hate women because I made fun of all the countless woke all-female reboots that are all the rage in current year. Yeah, I hate women so much I watch copious amounts of anime with nothing but women in them. I really do hate me some women. And on a final note, to illustrate how anime is vastly different from the SJW agenda pushing we see in the West, let's take a look at the Tale of Two Spices. On the Western side, we got High Guardian Spice, the Crunchyroll/Elation original show that was advertised mostly by touting how diverse the staff working on the show was, with very minimal mention of the show itself. Barely a peep about it. And while I didn't attend Crunchyroll Expo myself, I heard that at the panel where they were talking about that show, they basically said that most of these characters are lesbians. So if I don't end up liking it, I'm both a misogynist and a homophobe. Meanwhile, Japan just put out a show by the name of Release the Spice, which has so far anyway been a pretty damn awesome action and spy anime about an all-girl team with some very heavy Yuri lesbian undertones in it. I've really been enjoying it so far, and combine that with the fact that I watch every Yuri anime that comes out there, yeah, I'm clearly a misogynist and a homophobe, aren't I?
Sarcastically, Regin points out how can anyone who watches anime with nothing but female characters hates women. This is the ultimate contradiction of the comments "you simply hate women." I think if someone has a deep hatred towards women, he would prefer to watch a work with nothing but men on it, or at least something that leaves women ridiculed, disenfranchised, or murdered, or worse. When the first look of High Guardian Spice showed up, there weren't dislikes for showing lesbian characters in it. There were dislikes because they were talking about their stuff much more than their product in a very disproportionate way. There were dislikes because they labeled the show as anime while displaying it not with the anime style, but with the Western colors style, a style that became commonly used on Western TV cartoons like Gravity Falls, The Amazing World of Gumball, Steven Universe, and the Thundercats reboot. So, in response, Crunchyroll decided to respond to the audience by shutting the comment section off and disable the like-dislike ratio. Now compare this with Release the Spice. There are more likes than dislikes ratio than High Guardian Spice because they were showing what the product is about, which is anime. It contains Yuri moments, something that the male audience often likes, and it doesn't talk about the stuff like High Guardian Spice did. Creating a female character and creating a female character that appeals to the male audience are two different things. In the anime community, funny enough, you can find dozens, if not hundreds, of games, shows, movies about females struggling with obstacles despite their abilities and conditions and still appeal to the male audience. You may not believe me, but I can show you multiple examples with very different settings with each other. The very mentioned Senran Kagura shows a history with busty female ninjas in the Hanzo Academy, a faction affiliated with good ninjas that are in a cold war against another faction, the Hebijo Academy, affiliated with able ninjas. Now this is going to sound ridiculous, but bear with me for a minute. When I first got more involved in the series beyond Bon Appetit, I learned that there are something else than big breasts, and that's the plot of the series and how there is a character development as time goes on. Asuka is clumsy, but despite that flaw, she wants to follow her grandfather's steps in becoming a ninja and is willing to work harder. Katsuragi, despite showing her tendency to sexually harass other girls, she wants to become stronger to atone for her parents' crimes with hopes of reuniting with her family someday. Jagyu, long time ago, had a younger sister who died in a car accident and made an eye patch from her ribbon as a permanent memento of her while she distances herself from everyone. Next, she's best friends with Hibari because she reminds her of her sister, and thanks to that, she's more open to herself and to others. One could say that there are stunning and brave females who find themselves in hard conditions and situations beyond their control, yet they still keep trying in order to reach their goals. Or how about strong females helping a rookie male character? Dog Days takes place in an alternate fantasy world where the young, cheerful and athletic Shinku from Earth gets summoned in by a princess named Miluar into a different world to assist her in a single war match without any casualties against another faction. So, when the battle ends, Shinku and Miluar learn that it's impossible for him to come back to the Earth, so while the scientists are looking for a solution, he has to stay in the fantasy world for a period of time. Most of the people who help and guide Shinku to become a better warrior are females. Princess Miluar teaches him the basics of their culture, how to use his weapon, and tells him easy tactics to defeat enemies. The knight Eclair trains with him in various chapters, and the genius scientist Rico, while researching for a way to Shinku to go back to the Earth, she finds the time to help him to get a better connection for his mobile phone to at least let his childhood best friend in Earth, Rebecca, know that he's okay. Despite all the fan service provided, the females in this anime prove that they are capable enough to take care of themselves, and despite that, they face their own problems. Nobody wants to see a Marisu taking care of everything and don't face any problems, like if they introduce some cheat code to activate a god mode. Or how about something made in a modern setting, while at the same time giving a special and unique ability to the female main character. Kotoura-san tells a history about Haruka Kotoura, a young girl born with the power to read minds, but in her childhood all it did was get her bullied by her classmates, become lonely without any friends, led to the separation of their parents, and her mother abandoning her. Her grandfather is the only one taking care of her, but that doesn't prevent Kotoura from distancing from everyone. And this is not any spoiler, this is just the beginning of the episode 1. Then she meets a guy named Yoshihisa, who is the only one that doesn't have any negative thoughts of her, and despite he has a dummy personality with perverted thoughts, he himself offers his friendship openly, leading to her have more friends to her adventure in this romantic comedy drama. It shows that, despite being the only person in the planet with the ability to read minds, Kotoura still struggles to have a normal life like everyone else. Or even better, how about something that will appeal easily to the, let's say, LGBT community? Kashimashi, Girl Meets Girl, tells a history about Hasumu, a boy who declared to his friend Yasuna but got rejected. While climbing a hill for introspection, he gets killed in an accident involving an alien spaceship. But thanks to the same aliens, he's brought back to life, but as a female instead of as a male. That's the basic premise, a male to female character in this romantic comedy with Yuri and a bit of science fiction. The game is from 2006, and I watched it in the same year. The only reasons I decided to watch this anime was because I've seen it in a Yuri forum and because I thought that the premise was very unique in the Yuri genre. I didn't have any reason related to the LGBT community. The reason I'm showing these 4 examples is to illustrate you, the listener, to think that the works in the anime community are quite diverse. In anime, if a member related to the Yuri audience enjoys works with Yuri features, he doesn't have any reason to complain as long as it is appealing to the Yuri audience. If that same Yuri member finds a yaoi work, instead of attacking the yaoi product and demanding it to appeal to a wider audience towards the Yuri audience, the reaction will simply express indifference and move on with the Yuri products they enjoy more. The Yuri audience lives happily with the Yuri products and lets the yaoi audience live happily with the yaoi products. This is the live and let live philosophy Reijin was talking about, and I asked you to keep it in mind in order to understand these points. Sure, I haven't shown any works related to yaoi, and that's because I'm not the demographic target of yaoi products. But I certainly wouldn't go after these products by shouting, "You gotta appeal to the male audiences too, add lesbians or straight parents," with the very likely result of alienating the demographics of the product in the future. I prefer to let yaoi fans enjoy the yaoi products.
For most of us, if you create something with the sole purpose of pushing an agenda, it's pretty obvious. Especially if you make it unappealing on purpose because making it appealing is somehow against your own agenda. On the other hand, if you create something with the intent of entertaining your audience first and foremost, you can include the exact same themes and messages in your content and they will be readily accepted. So let the free market do its job, and just keep an eye on yourself to make sure you don't start seeing witches everywhere, and it's only a matter of time until we naturally win.
There are products that are aimed specifically at certain audiences. Social problems within video games are only found from outsiders with claims such as "this game is violent" or "this game is sexist." Gamers who bought these certain products and are enjoying these products don't have any problems that get near these claims. Sure, they have complaints about bugs, but nothing related in societal terms. Gamers will keep buying the games they like, and if these games happen to result unappealing on purpose, some or many of these fans will move away from the product looking for another game with equivalent features. This is how the free market works with the concept of supply and demand, especially on games focused in fanservice. Lastly, it's in our hands to do our best to not become too paranoid. Speak your mind and don't let the negative press get to you. And if you have to take a break from the culture war, stay away from the news for a while and do something you love, like playing video games or watching anime, to set a few examples. That's how you gain mental stability. Nobody's perfect and we need a break from time to time. This video, not about cats or popular car accidents in Russia or even news belonging to the mainstream media, a simple YouTube video by a guy with a microphone explaining this phenomenon eloquently under 16 minutes while offering solutions on what we can do about it. And the fact that he was able to predict what censors were willing to do makes it a prophetic video, becoming the most important video of the culture war.